Well, welcome to Hamilton County TV, and I'm in probably my favorite gymnasium in all the state of Indiana. I guess I've been coming here since for almost 60 years because I was 10 years old. And today I got girls basketball coach Erin Trimpe with me. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Erin, you're 5 games into the season. Let's talk a little bit. It's not exactly how you and I talked about it before the Noblesville game, and this is your 3rd year here, and it wasn't exactly the way you drew it out that you expected the season to go, but adversity happens, and that next person has to step up, and you got to play. So let's talk a little bit about the season so far and Saturday's game against Southeastern.
Absolutely. We came in at a tough spot. We have quite a few soccer players who played in the state championship game on the Saturday before Homestead, had to come to basketball practice on Monday, get 5 practices in, and then go play one of the best teams in the state. And, I think it showed a little bit just in the score and the energy that we came out with. And so we got it back into the gym and got a lot of work done. And, we're just trying to get better every day. Obviously, with Kate Clark out, that adds another piece of adversity and a piece of challenge for us. But we're really stressing to the girls just to fill their roles, get better around her and without her, so that when we can step back in against the schedule that we play, that we're really in good shape. But obviously, when you look at a 2-3 record, that might not be a lot of mindset. So we're just trying to keep it on the next game. Hamilton Southeastern was a great team. It was a great game. We're focused on holding leads right now. We're coming out strong and doing a lot of good things, but then just not being able to finish games the way that we want. So we're going to continue to, focus on that in practice.
Well, Coach, you got coming up here a big game this week against Lawrence North. And the one thing about, I'll say, right now is, you're playing 10 of the top 20 teams in the first 5 weeks of your season. So it's a grueling schedule, but when you play in the MIC, there's a lot of great teams. Now Lawrence Central is coming on here. Yeah. Your Warren Central, North Central. So, and then you play a tough out-of-conference schedule like talking about Homestead. I mean, Carmel doesn't dodge anybody.
No, we had to pick up a couple games this year. We picked up a really good Fort Wayne Snyder team, a very good Mishawaka Marion team, a very talented West Lafayette team. So every night, we talk to the girls. There's really no nights that you can take off. There's no practices that you can take off, and we just hope by the end of the season, whether our record is where we want, that we've played the best teams and it's prepared us for really big moments. And as you know, our sectional is just a gauntlet, and so it's focused on how can we put ourselves in the best position throughout the season to be prepared for something like that.
Yeah, you're speaking of sectional, and that's sectional 8. And of course, everyone all over the state always talks about how tough the sectional is. Yes. When you look down this year's roster, it's no different than in years past of all the teams in it and the rosters. Every team has maybe 2 to 3 top D1 players on that team in different age groups, but they got very talented players.
Absolutely, and we have a lot of respect for all of the teams in our county. We talked about how good the coaching is, how well prepared the girls are every night, and all of them play very tough schedules too. So everyone's really preparing themselves for those moments, and each team has a stud that they can kind of build around, but then they all have these great role players who understand how to get things done and how to build around a player. And so you go in every night just not sure who's going to beat you. You just hope that you have enough to overcome it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the 2021-22 Carmel Greyhounds. Talk about those players, because you have kind of a mixture. You got, 3 seniors, a couple of juniors.
Yes. We're very heavy in our junior class. Yes, 5 or 6 juniors who are really coming in and don't have a lot of varsity experience. When you really look at our roster, there's 2 or 3 girls who have genuine experience from last year, the year before. And so I think you see that a lot in the way that we're playing right now, just that inexperience of big time situations, of the difference between JV basketball and varsity basketball, and how things speed up. We've got 2 freshmen on our varsity roster as well, one that's starting at our point guard position. Talk about being thrown into the fire. So there's a lot of growing pains and a lot of adversity that we're looking for those girls, and figuring out how to push themselves when things aren't going the way that they want, and that's just something that comes with experience. So as you said, our schedule is so tough, they learn it quick, and just hope that they can kind of keep that mental capacity to push to the next play, and if they make mistakes, how to fix them, how to correct them, and just continue to get better.
Yeah, because one of the things, and as well as I do now, with the way basketball's set up, with how highly competitive all these young ladies are now, in the practice and the off-season work that they do. A freshman, it takes a special freshman to be able to step in here and play at this level.
Correct, and especially, one of them started against Homestead, the very first game of the season. I mean, away game at Homestead, playing a UConn commit, along with several players around them who are D1 commits, and it's wild, and the girls learn quickly, and our freshmen are learning, how to handle things and how to understand that things that worked in 8th grade and things that worked at the AAU level are not things that are going to work against the talent that we play and the rosters that we play. But luckily, they're just two really great kids. They have great teammates who encourage them and push them along, and they've really come together as a group, and I'm excited to see that continue to grow.
But the one great thing with the mix that you have on your program, that senior leadership is very important.
Absolutely.
And it helps tremendously.
Yes, and Emily Roper, is committed to Ball State to play soccer, but she's really just one of the most athletic and competitive kids I've ever been around. And her voice and her leadership and the way that she plays, we throw her at the top of zones. We ask her to be a point guard. We ask her to set screens. And when the girls see her throwing her body around and sacrificing herself, it really gets them to rally around her, and she kind of shows them what it means to play at Carmel and what it means to put your team first.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your coaching staff, because you can't do it all yourself.
Correct.
And every great coach realizes you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with.
Yes. And we're very fortunate this year. We have 2 new varsity assistants. Sheila Keller came to us from Chittard, and she was an Indiana All-Star. She was a 1,000-point scorer at Notre Dame, a very talented point guard, and just such a valuable resource for our freshman point guards and for our guards in general. And her knowledge, when it comes to helping me and assisting me in watching film and in-game situations has just been, it's just been amazing. She's made a really big difference in the style that we're playing. She's brought a lot of good offensive ideas. And she's just, always learning and always teaching and always ready to go each practice. And then we also added TJ Perry, who played at Butler as a post player, and he has a daughter who's a freshman in our program. So he's really bought into Carmel basketball and the importance of being physical and playing fast. And he's come in and done a lot of really good things on the defensive end. And so it's been a great compliment to me. It's been a great compliment to our JV coach, Kayla Paul, who's done a great job the last 2 years and gets our girls ready each night. But everyone's just really bought in, and it's been a really fun experience for me to learn from so many great basketball minds as I'm fairly young in my career, and need that guidance at times.
Absolutely. Well, one thing about it, at Hamilton County TV, we're very excited because we'll be back here December the 7th to broadcast the Westfield game, which, that's a sectional opponent.
Yes.
So,
and it's
always a great game.
Absolutely.
I know coaches don't like to look ahead, but
right.
I wanted to put that plug in there because we're excited to do that.
Absolutely, and it's a fun matchup. We have a lot of respect for the Westfield girls and for what Jenny does over there, the way that they play. They're led obviously by Alyssa Crockett, who's just an extremely talented player and a lot of fun to watch and just dynamic at all levels of the game. So she's someone that we're going to definitely try to limit if we can. But then it's just going to be focused on how do we pressure, how do we play our game and play within our system against a team that's really going to defend us well and knows us well. When you play a team that many times and are familiar with them in your county, it's just always a fun matchup because both coaches are really prepared for what's going to be thrown at them.
One last question, because you mentioned that. By everyone in our sectional, but Zionsville, which you always play, and every team, they happen to be in the Hoosier Crossroad Conference, so everyone in our sectional plays Zionsville.
Yes.
it's another challenge when you have to play teams multiple times.
Absolutely, and we played Zionsville 2 weeks ago. We've got Westfield next week, like you said, and then we play Fishers the week before the sectional draw. And so you see some teams really early and you see some late, and so the teams that we are 2 weeks ago for Zionsville and us, there's not going to be the team that we are come February. And so you can prepare as much as you can and play games and think that you feel comfortable, but there's really no comfort level, and there's no such thing as a good draw. You just have to go out and be ready to compete every night.
And that's why you have to take games one game at a time.
Exactly. And this week we have 3 games, and so it's boom, boom, boom with not a lot of practice time. So keeping us healthy and keeping us focused and not just exhausted is going to be a really important part of our December, especially because we play quite a few games this month or this coming month and into winter break. And again, no easy ones. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Like you said, you got 3 games this week.
Correct.
Best of luck, and I'll see you back here.
Thank you so much. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Yep.